Hey everybody, I'm put this little video together about Charles Manson. I don't think he did what he's accused of doing. This is the honest truth. I think the guy knew too much. I think he knew about the Catholic Church, which is taking over the world, which are the ones who perpetrated the Inquisition, which is still going on. You know, the media selling fear, and Charlie knows all this. This is the problem. This is a man that didn't touch anybody is in jail for life. Think about that. Think about that. A man that didn't touch anybody is in jail for life. It's because if they let him loose, as much as he knows, he gets 2 media interviews as a free man and done. He will own them because he knows, and we're going to know, and we're starting to know now. It's time. The time has come, finally. It's been many years, and more years than you even can imagine, I think. But we're finally getting here. Charlie was a patsy. He was a patsy. I don't think Charlie could have done what was done. Did you see the picture of Sharon Tate? And there was a word inscribed with a knife onto her body. It looked like it said war. If you find that picture, look at the W real close. It's not a W at all. It's the seal of Saturn. You go find that picture, and then you go find the seal of Saturn, and you'll see who's really doing this. Who's really the monsters that are really doing this. So here's the video. Check it out. Thanks.
Level 3 times around. I know why the Queen wears those 3 stripes on her hat. Level 3 times around. I know why the Queen wears those 3 stripes on her hat. And I know why she goes to Kentucky to get her horses. There isn't anything I don't know from here to the IRA. I know who gets bombed and why those 17 people starved themselves in Belfast. And I know why she goes to Kentucky to get her horses. There isn't anything I don't know from here to the IRA. I know who gets bombed and why those 17 people starved themselves in Belfast. Prison was not built to punish people. It was built to help people. That's why they're called peace officers. But sadistic ding-dongs got in there and wanted to make it into be the shadows of what they thought. And the incompetent and the inadequate need to punish someone so they feel better. And the incompetent and the inadequate need to punish someone so they feel better. So it's like in reform school, they used to lay me down and beat me with leather straps so I couldn't walk. And I used to think, what did I do wrong? And for years I would think that I was wrong, that I did something wrong, and then I seen it wasn't that I did anything wrong. They beat me so they show the next kids now what not to do. So, you know, in other words, like, prison is the mind. Most of the people that work in the prison are more in prison than the people they've got in prison. They've just got their kids in prison. They got the poor people in prison. They got people that have no money in prison. I don't understand what prison is anymore. I don't understand what prison is anymore.
Would you like to get out of prison?
I'd like to get out of handcuffs.
Yeah.
In other words, like, I can't buy no illusion or no carrot on the nose. In other words, you do what I say and I might do this. And then I do what you say and you never pay me. I go through Vacaville and I carry Vacaville on my back for 18 years and they promised me a mainline. 3 doctors took me off Category J and took me off high violent potential. I go back to San Quentin. They need me for high violence so they can sell this thing to the public that they're selling to the public, so they can have more income taxes, build more prisons, and convict the public in their eyes as if they're doing the right thing and protecting the public and doing good, that they're creating more crime. Game. It's like, let me tell you something that you don't see. You go behind the church and you look at the preachers. They're playing with the Boy Scouts in the dark. They're playing with the Boy Scouts in the dark. And they're as nasty as anybody in the street. And they're without conscience and without morals. But then you pass through the door into the churches. Oh, we're so much love. And we love you and you're so wonderful. And I'm down at the bottom standing in fire. Faces on fire. And I'm thinking, why am I holding these people up? I'm not in the city with the automobiles. Automobiles are making the pollution that's killing us. I'm not living in the electricity world. I'm not living in the only TV show. I only know one guy that owned a TV. And I would come down from the mountains into his living room, and I wouldn't want to go in his house because there was TV in it. He said, come on in. TV ain't going to bite you. He said, I only watch one program. I said, which program's that? He said, Star Trek.
You watch TV here?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
You keep up with current events? Do you watch the news? And
I don't watch them, all them little cheap, vicarious old women fear things. All they're doing is selling fear to them old witches, them old broads that live on that vicarious thrill. You watch them in the show, and they say, any children get drove down by the car, and they go, oh, you know, they're all just, that's silly, man. It's really, all they're doing is selling fear to them old witches, them old broads that live on that vicarious thrill. You watch them in the show, and they say, any children get drove down by the car, and they go, oh, you know, they're all just, that's silly, man. It's really. That's another thing I'm mad at the whole society about. Your minds are all stuck in movies. You can't get to reality unless you go through a movie. You got to make 4 or 5 movies before you get to the reality of it. Everybody wants to be locked up, so they make movies up over my thoughts. They steal my thoughts, they put microphones in my walls, they put them in my sink, they steal my letters, everything I do or say, it just becomes Magnum P.I. on one hand, and Robert Conrad on the other, going in my, I'm a secret agent for the Rubenflaum, the Vanflaum, and all that Robert Lamp dance to get off the roll. Funds you get to let it get up to the public because it's the best roll dance. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
oh, I got
kind
it.
of creative in there.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church has been trying to turn this country into Catholic for years. They ride on the courtroom. The Catholic Church has been trying to turn this country into Catholic for years. They ride on the courtroom. The Protestant Church is the United States government. The Constitution was a covenant with the cross and the Bible. Freedom of religion was freedom of our religion. Freedom of the Protestant religion out from underneath King George to where the honest labor man, the man of the mountains and the hills and the guys in the hose, had entrance into the court. But when you cut me out of the courtroom, you didn't give me my rights in a courtroom. You tripped over yourself, Nixon. When you set a thought in your courtroom, that sets a reality in these men that hold the procedure. They are paid to hold that procedure in the will of the rules. The rules are the will of God. That's what the law is. It's there to protect everyone. What about Charlie? Are you going to give Charlie his rights? We can't give Charlie that courtroom. If we give him that courtroom, we got to give him the robe that goes with it, because Charlie knows more about what's going on in this world and country than we do. The father of our fathers went into war and are in the grave that fought for our rights in this country. My grandfather lays buried in the veterans' burial ground for my rights. I have permission by the Constitution to bear arms. And if you don't abide by those rules and rights, then I have the right to go into revolution and do anything to you that you're doing to me. That's a revolutionary, universal law that comes from God.
Do you consider yourself a revolutionary?
Why, sure, definitely. Everybody's afraid to call me a political prisoner, and Amnesty International won't accept it. And everybody runs to the east for Uganda with the skyjackers before the place is free. The law is the 14th Amendment. We're standing on 13. Let's look at 14 now. Give me my 14th Amendment, man. Give me my rights in the courtroom. Let me call my witnesses just like I'm supposed to know. Judge Keenan took my pro purse. And the very same person that snuck the writ in to get him to take my pro purse, he signed a contract with to make moves.
Pro per means?
My right to defend myself to the assistance of counsel. I never got into that courtroom. They stood a lawyer in front of me and said, that's not my lawyer. That's your lawyer. No, that's your lawyer. I know it's not my lawyer. That's not my lawyer. That's your lawyer. No, that's your lawyer. I know it's not my lawyer. You got abortion clinics cutting the babies out of your own daughters. Because you can't face that your daughters are being ripped off and taken and made pregnant when they don't want it. Because you don't have the backbone in your own system to obey by your own rules and regulations. My old lady gets busted in San Francisco. The district attorney sends her a hand-shoe lawyer and says, if you work for me, I can't say. If the district attorney is pimping prostitutes, the governor's running the numbers racket out of his office. He's raffling off the souls of his very church. And then you come back to me with the welders force burn up the evidence box. And every crook in the United States knows that that $50 million of cocaine that come up missing from the vice squad didn't burn up. You're not bullshitting us. We see you. You want us to abide by rules and regulations, but who's making you abide by them?